This is a corrected and re-uploaded version of a review I did about a year ago. And in that review, I named this guitar wrongly. I've assumed that the Hush and the Hush Pro were Hush 1 and Hush 1 Pro. However, they are in fact the Hush I and the Hush I Pro. So, as well as correcting the mistake, I'm also going to do an update of my thoughts on the guitar a year later. So, here we go. Unboxing, walkthrough and review of the Donner Hush I Pro. Those of you who are familiar with this channel will know I've already reviewed the Hush X and the Hush I. So I've really been looking forward to review this guitar. And it came directly from Donner. And as usual, it took about a week to arrive. Donner have provided this guitar to me for the review. But even though this is true, it doesn't mean my review won't be honest. Whether you do or don't buy the guitar doesn't bother me. So I will be completely honest in my review of this guitar. Before we get started then, let's take a look at what they say on their product listing page. And they're calling it the Hush I Pro Acoustic Electric Travel Guitar Kit with inserted sound effects. And it's available in two colours, natural wood and white. And it's almost like a hybrid of the Hush I and the Hush X. And that's because it's got elements of both guitars. However, I think the big selling point will be the inbuilt effects. Right, let's get on with it. Donner Hush I Pro unboxing. The guitar arrived in its Donner factory box, so you can tell what's in there because it's written on the box itself. And it's kind of crazy really that there's a guitar in the guitar case in this box, yet it's still smaller, both width and lengthwise, than a Fender Strat, for example. As usual, I'm speeding up the unboxing process, so the video isn't too long and it's not quite as boring. I'm trying to keep the box intact, which is making the unboxing a lot harder. As you can see, in the box, the guitar's in its case, and the box is reinforced at the end to protect the guitar if the box gets knocked. Because it's designed as a travel guitar, the case is small but really well made. And you can see it's got two sets of zips. One's for the accessories and the rests, and one's for the guitar itself. I'll take a proper look at the case towards the end of this video, but for now I'll just show you how everything fits inside it, and I'll start with the accessories section. When you consider the overall size of the case, the amount of space they give you to store away accessories is quite surprising. It's got two elasticated pockets, and it's got a dedicated area to store away the rests. Unzipping the second compartment reveals the guitar, safely stored away in a plastic bag. I'll take the guitar out now so we can take a good look at it. There doesn't seem to be anything important on the tags, but I'll put them away with the accessories anyway, just in case I need them. On first sight, the look of the guitar is really striking. With its maple neck, white body and maple bridge, the whole look is really clean. If I take everything out of the case now, I can put the guitar together. And I can also show you all the accessories that come with the guitar in the case. It's amazing how much you can get into such a small case. So there it all is, the guitar and its accessories. Before looking at the accessories, I'll put the guitar together. So I put the body and the rests together on the desk like this. And that way you're sure you'll know what direction the rest should be facing and which rest goes on which side before you start trying to attach it. The rests seem to be made of steel, and they're very strong and very heavy, and they've been finished in an anodized finish. To fit the rests, there's a shim at the attachment that you can pull back like this. So to fit the rests, you pull back the shim, then you push the rest into place, and then you push the shim forward, and the rest will lock into place. And it's the same for both sides. But when fitting the top rest, or the one on the right hand side as you're looking at it, make sure you line up the second part of the rest with the hole so that you're not banging it on the surface of the guitar, because you could damage it. To make absolutely sure you don't damage the guitar or the rests by trying to force them into place, or damage the guitar by trying to pick it up by the rests when they're not properly fitted, they've put the instructions on how to fit them on the box in the instruction manual and on stickers that are stuck on the surface of the guitar. And speaking of the manual is fairly thick, but it comes in multiple languages, so there's only a few pages to each language. However, it tells you everything you need to know to use the guitar, right the way down to how to set the neck profile and how to change the strings. Before I take a look at the guitar, I'll charge the battery up fully. And I'll just use my mobile phone charger to do this. However, you can use any USB charger to charge the guitar up, and they've provided a lead if you need one. When you plug a charger into the guitar, a red LED shows, and I'm assuming this goes green when the battery's fully charged. Whilst the guitar's charging up, I'll take a look at the accessories. The accessories provided are a musical instrument lead, a guitar strap, a case strap, a cleaning cloth, a pair of headphones, a truss rod adjustment tool and some picks, and a USB charging cable and data cable. I'll put the case strap on first, which is made of good quality canvas, and the clips on the end are made of metal and are fully swiveled to help prevent the strap from getting twisted up. There's 3 strong loops on the case to attach the strap to, 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So it's up to you what side you'd like to have the strap clipped on. The strap is fully adjustable, and it's more than strong enough to carry the case with the guitar and all the accessories in. The instrument lead provided is 10 foot long, which is a good length, and it's thicker than your average lead, so it feels good quality. The jack plugs on either ends of the lead are the moulded plastic type, which I wouldn't normally associate with a lead of this thickness and quality. The other lead that came in the accessories is the USB lead, which is really good quality and really heavy duty. However, it's only about 1 meter long, so I could see this causing issues for some people. The strap as well is good quality. It's the cloth type, but it's fairly wide, and it's got leather ends which are quite thick, so they're going to last a while. And it's fully adjustable using the plastic clip type adjustment, which I quite like. With most guitars, you get an Allen key to adjust the truss rod. However, with this guitar, they've provided a spoke wheel type adjuster, and it's a good quality tool they've provided. When I first saw it, I thought they'd put a tremolo bar in by accident, because it's got the same plastic tip on as you get on tremolo bars. And in the same bag as the truss rod adjustment tool, they've also provided a couple of picks of different sizes and thicknesses, which is always a useful thing to have. The last two accessories are the cleaning cloth and the headphones. And I'm not going to look at the cleaning cloth because it is what it is. However, let's take a look at the headphones. For obvious reasons, I can't really demonstrate the headphones, but they look and sound alright to me. And they've got buds that come in 3 different sizes, so you can find the size that's comfortable for yourself. And the quality of the headphones seems very good. The wire is very good, very flexible, and it comes with a steel jack plug. So I can't see any problems with them. So that's all the accessories. They're giving you all that you need without giving you too much, and they've managed to keep the quality up to a good level. We can move on to what you really want to see now, and that's the guitar. The battery's charged and it's ready to go. But before I start talking about the guitar, here's a slideshow so you can take a good look around it. I recorded the background music using the guitar. Before I filmed the slideshow and took the pictures, I removed the safety stickers and the protective film off the screen. And the safety stickers were a nightmare. They wouldn't come off cleanly no matter how hard I tried, and I ended up having to clean them off with a bit of lighter fluid, as that's all I had to hand. Thankfully though, the screen protector came off easily. The tune I played there was recorded using the guitar on preset 4, and the tune was Drifting Tonight, which is lesson 3, book 2 of the GCH Guitar Academy fingerstyle guitar course. You can find the lesson on how to play that in the book 2 fingerstyle guitar course playlist on my YouTube channel, and the tablature is completely free at www.ebooks4guitar.com. Here's my thoughts when I first saw the guitar and what I found out whilst I was recording that tune. Something I need to point out straight away, and something I'll be cognizant of during the review, is the fact that this isn't a cheap guitar. For Donna, certainly, it's probably their most expensive guitar at over £400 here in the UK. Saying that, you'd be very lucky to buy anything by big names in that price range, unless you were buying second hand, and even then you'd be lucky. When I first saw the guitar, I was quite surprised by the colour, because it's described as being white, but in actual fact it's kind of a pearloid or almost a colour flip colour, so it refracts different colours depending on the angle of light. I've tried to show it in the pictures and video here, but it really doesn't do it justice. And the reason I mention this is because this colour looks a lot more expensive and more classy than just flat white. Working down then from what would be the headstock, we have a loop, which is where the strings are anchored because everything's back to front. And I like this loop idea. It's the same as on the Hush 1, and it's really handy for hanging the guitar up. Both the nut and the saddle are bone, which is known for producing good sound. On this model, the white one, the fingerboard is Canadian maple, and the back of the neck is mahogany, and it's finished in that pearloid white, which is a satin finish. I'm quite curious as to how the back of the neck is going to age, as it'll eventually wear shiny with use. The fret markers on the front of the fingerboard are subtle pearloid white ones, and on the side of the fingerboard they're black, so they stand out more clearly. The neck profile is more or less perfect, though it'll probably need adjusting as it acclimatises to different weathers in different countries. And if you need to adjust it, it's easy enough. The neck adjustment is on the body end, and it's the spoke wheel type adjuster. And as I mentioned earlier, they've provided the tool. The action height at the 12th fret straight out of the box is 2mm on the bottom E string and 1.75mm or thereabouts on the top E string, and that's very good. The neck and the body is one piece, and the transition between the two is very smooth and well finished, and they fitted a strap button close to the heel. I have been told in the comments that there are problems with balance on the strap, but I'll look at this with the other two Hush series guitars in another video. And it's worth pointing out that they use elements of the previous two Hush series guitars in this Hush guitar, i.e. they've used the machine heads, string trees, bridge and headstock from the Hush 1, and they've used the rests from the Hush X, so it's tried and tested. But in the Hush 1 Pro, they've upgraded the pickup to one called the YF01S, which I'm assuming is Donna's own, as I can't find any more information on this pickup online. Looking at the tail end of the guitar, you can see that the output socket and strap button are neatly combined, in the same way they were on the Hush 1. The machine heads, which are also the same style as used on the Hush 1, are very neat, compact and functional, and the Allen key that you use to tune the guitar is cunningly stored away at the back of the guitar in a very neat way. As a guitar to play, the whole Hush series takes getting used to because of its size and shape. However, when you get used to it, it's a really nice instrument, and the neck and feel on this guitar is really nice, and it's really nice to play, and that's without me having to change anything. This brings me on to the sound now, which is more or less anything you want it to be, because this guitar's got a built-in signal processor and effects that you can save, so you can more or less model your sound as you like it and then save it. Let's take a look at that now. I'll remove the rest so I can clearly show the controls and the control panel. On the top row of controls, we have the air boost, the tone boost, the save, the Bluetooth connect button, the power button, and the headphone socket. Air boost and tone boost don't really give you an accurate idea of what these controls do because they're centered controls. So you can either boost the air or reduce it, and boost the tone or reduce the tone. And the effects they have on the sound is quite unique. So the only way I can explain this is by showing you. So here's the effect the air boost has on the sound. And here's the effect the tone boost has on the sound. On the bottom row, the guitar has an edit, which is a multi-point switch, a select, which is a rotary encoder, a value, which is a rotary encoder, and a master, which is a potentiometer. Finally, on the end, the guitar's got a USB-C socket. The reason I mention which are switches, potentiometers, and rotary encoders is because the potentiometer and the switch remain when you turn the guitar off and turn the guitar on again, whereas anything set using the rotary encoders must be saved, otherwise you'll lose them when you turn the guitar off and turn it on again. Before I show you through the effects, I'll just play through each of the presets as they are now. There's 18 of them in total. If I'm completely honest, as they are now, most of those sounds are pretty horrible. But that's to be expected, because all guitar makers and guitar effects makers always set their effects at the highest setting so you can really hear what they can do. However, when you crank them down a bit so they're more subtle, they always sound a lot nicer. With this guitar, they've made the different effects and the sound really easy to change and save. So let's take a look at how that's done. I'll take the rest off again so you can see what I'm doing. First I'll turn the guitar on and it comes on into bypass mode. I can still play the guitar here but without effects. By turning the edit control one click we go into the preset mode. And then by turning the select control, we can go between the different presets to choose one we want to play on. By turning the edit control once more, I go into the multi-effect mode. Then, using the select key, I can go between overdrive, compression and boost. And the levels can be adjusted using the value control. If I turn the edit control once again, it takes me into the modulation effects. And then using the select control, I can choose between chorus, phaser, tremolo, flanger, and auto wah. Turning the edit once again gives me access to the delay effects, and these are analog, echo, dual, tremolo, and lo-fi. If I turn the edit control once again, it takes me to reverbs, and this gives me access to room reverb, hall reverb, spring reverb, cloud reverb, and shimmer. Turning the edit control once more takes me to the IRs, or impulse responses. And there's 20 available, and only 8 are filled with the ones that Donna have pre-programmed. And they're based on different acoustic guitar models. Turning the edit control one more time brings us to the graphic equalizer. And turning the select control allows you to select which frequency you want to adjust. And then using the value button, you can either add boost to this frequency or suppress it. And whatever setting you've set the equalizer to can be saved with the preset, so you can have multiple settings. One final turn of the select control brings us to the tuner, which I found is very accurate. And if you work at a different frequency other than A equals 440, you can change it using the select control if you want to. So even though I've skirted through all these different settings, you can see the potential for changing the sound of the guitar is endless, and you can produce more or less any sound you want. You can also download an app from the Donna website that allows you to edit the sounds and manage them from your PC, and it connects to the guitar using the USB. I'm just going to go through some of the impulse responses because I didn't go through those before. I'll add a little reverb now so I can create my own sound. I'll just try a bit of compression. I'm really impressed by just how much control you've got over the sound it produces from the guitar itself. One thing I haven't mentioned, which is a really useful feature, is the fact on the presets on the OLED screen, it actually tells you which effects are being used, and this is quite useful when you're going through the presets. Right, I'll pack the guitar away now so I can show you how easy it is to do. And whilst I'm doing that, I'll review the case. The rests are quite stiff and you have to sort of jiggle them to make them come free, but I'd rather this than have them too loose. The handles have still got some protective plastic on, so I'll remove that. The handles are solid metal and they're fixed firmly to the case. The rests go into the accessories part of the case, so they can't bang against the guitar. and they go in very specifically. When you first get the guitar, this takes a while to get used to. However, I've already packaged one of these away before now, so I know what to do. The zips aren't cheap ones, and they operate quite smoothly, which is important because quite often it's the first thing to go on a case. The guitar's quite easy to put away because it can only go in one way, so it's easy enough. But it is a snug fit, so it can be a little fidgety. The case is very good quality, and it's padded all around, and everything fits in there nicely. You can tell it's designed as a travel guitar because it's very compact and very strong. I do like the way they've embroidered Donna Hush guitars on the front of the case, and if you've got more than one Hush guitar, they've put a little tab on the end of the case saying I Pro, so you know which guitar belongs in this case. The case is well thought out. Conclusion. This review could have probably gone on for another half an hour, but I'm aware it was already getting boring. But the problem with this guitar is you've got so much ability to change the sound that I'm never going to show all of that in a video on YouTube. The build quality of this guitar is really top notch. I've not found any imperfections on it. And if you want to summarise the build quality, just look at those frets and the way they're finished. Obviously, there's not one sharp edge. The finish of the guitar is way better than I expected. I was expecting a flat white guitar, but the pearloid finish really adds a touch of class to the guitar, and it sets off the maple fingerboard as well. Putting the guitar together and taking it apart again is a breeze, and it gets easier the more you do it. When I first took it out of the box, the rests were quite stiff to put into place. However, as I've taken it apart and put it together again during this review, it's becoming easier each time. And the sound quality is really nice. I put it against my favourite guitar just for my own test, and it's made my favourite guitar look pretty poor in comparison. Now, to bring some balance to this review, it isn't perfect. They've called it Pro because it's the top quality. However, for a professional, you might find one major issue, and that is the built-in battery. If the battery was to go flat on stage or in the recording studio, it could cost you, and you'd be stuffed. Whereas if you could just change the batteries, this wouldn't be an issue. So I'm a little concerned about that. But I'll have to see how this goes on and how the batteries behave, and then I'll have to report back in another video, because this is the sort of test that takes weeks to do really. So, conclusion to the conclusion is, I'm not disappointed. This is a really fantastic guitar. If you're interested in buying one of these guitars, or if you'd just like to find out more about it, I've put the links to the product page down below in the description, and some more general Donna links. And for anyone who's interested, Donna have kindly provided a discount code, which is GCH Guitar, all one word. 1 year later, update to the review of the Donna Hush I Pro. So far, this guitar's aged really well. There's no signs of corrosion on any of the metalwork, and the electronics still works as it should, and the battery charges up quickly and lasts for a good time. The rests have settled in nicely now, and they're easy to put on and take off, but they're not loose, so there's no danger of dropping your guitar. Something I didn't mention or even think about during the last review, but I really like now, is the fact that it's got an on-off switch. With most of this type of guitar, they turn on automatically when you plug them in, and then turn off when you unplug them. However, if you're using the guitar for recording, it's really handy just to have an on-off switch so you don't have to keep plugging the guitar in and unplugging it. In time, this will cause wear to the guitar as well. Comparing this guitar with the other Hush guitars, there's two things I like about this. The first thing is the built-in tuner. Again, that's really handy. Another thing is the loop on this guitar and on the Hush I are off center, which effectively makes the hole in the loop bigger than, say, the Hush X, so you can hang it virtually anywhere. One of the things I mentioned during the last review that I had my doubts about, and that is the fact that it has its own built-in battery. My concern is if you need the guitar and the battery's flat, you can't use it. However, I've since been corrected because you can actually run the guitar off a USB power supply or a power bank, and you can even run it and charge it at the same time, and it doesn't affect the sound. The only thing that I can mention that's not really a criticism, it's just an observation, and that's the fact that the software hasn't really updated and there's been no firmware updates. And I find this quite strange for a guitar after its first year. I would have thought they would have done something by now to the firmware to improve it. And one of the things I find strange about this is the fact that they've provided firmware upgrade software on the website, but no upgrades. So make of this what you will. So to finish up, it's a really nice instrument, and the acoustic focused effects are really nice. And that's it for the corrections and updates. Thank you very much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please like it. And if you want to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and that way you won't miss a video. I'd like to give a really special thank you to all the channel members who help to keep the channel going. And if you can afford it, and if you'd like to, please consider becoming a channel member yourselves. But if not, don't worry about it. Every view helps. And if you're looking for free guitar lessons, take a look at my YouTube channel and visit www.ebooks4guitar.com, where you'll find all the lessons in order and the free PDF ebooks that go along with the guitar lessons with all the tab and chords in. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.